connecting in the right space. It's really important for me to work with people and to share with people that share the same values that I do. So core values for my husband and I over the past it's been a little over 10 years that we have been kind of on this personal development journey, that we've really been focused on becoming our best selves. And so it's all about having a good attitude, a positive attitude. We believe in service. We believe in giving back. A lot of what we do day to day right now is giving back to others. We always work with integrity. We'll give you all the answers we have. And if we don't have those answers, we're going to point you in the right direction. And this picture over on the right-hand side of your screen of going up the mountain, it's just about giving back an additional helping. Yeah.
Excuse me, somebody is unmuted. Can you mute your mic, please? Because it's giving feedback. Thank you.
Okay. So just giving back, giving back to others, helping other people up that mountain. If you watch us on Facebook, you see that we do a lot of hiking. We love hiking. And so we really resonate with that metaphor of giving back and helping our friends and other people committed to empowering themselves up that mountain too. So as far as the professional background, I'm just going to put this up here. I'm not going to read all of it, but we have been through a lot of the advanced trainings for real estate investing. When we got started, YouTube was around, but it was nowhere near what it is today. So YouTube University was not a thing. Investing history, we have been investing since 2009. And then that started our landlord investment journey. And then since then, we have moved into wholesaling and fix and flip. We do a lot of tax liens and tax deeds now. We have become automation experts. So as you'll see in a couple slides from here, you'll see that a lot of what we do and why we do it and how we do it is about lifestyle. It's about creating the life that means the most to us, and it gives us exactly what we want and not just what somebody else tells us we should go after. And then in 2018, we were inducted into the REI Black Book Hall of Fame, which was a really big deal for us. REI Black Book is a software tool that we use that is a group of people that are essentially family to us. And so it was super awesome, and we were very honored to be inducted into their Hall of Fame. So our goals for tonight. The goals for tonight is to go over the #1 most impactful tip to be a successful real estate investor, your top seller lead generation methods, and what to do once your phone gets ringing. I'm also going to give you some ninja gifts, right? We call ourselves the Black Book Ninjas. That's the name of one of our companies that focuses on the automation. And so you'll see me reference ninja or ninjas throughout the night. So make sure you stick around to the end of this presentation. Like Akisha said, it's going to be 1 hour long, but you will get all the freebies tonight. So the #1 most impactful tip to be a successful real estate investor: choosing your mindset. Now, I know this seems like that seems so obvious, or that has nothing to do with real estate investing, but right now, this couldn't be more critical. We have to choose our mindset every day in this game, especially as you're getting going. You have to wake up with that fire. You have to wake up and say, I'm going to do this no matter what. And you can choose to say that there are deals for you or that there are not deals for you, that you will find deals today or you will not find deals today, that sellers are going to call, that they're not. It's all a matter of perspective. And no matter which one you choose, you're going to essentially attract that back to you. You're going to put out that energy to the universe. You're going to get that feedback right back at you. So every day you have to choose your mindset. That's been one of our biggest tips for success, is having an active, positive mindset and taking action, even in the face of fear. So what is mindset? Mindset is a set of established attitudes. That's all it is. And so you can practice those. You can choose those. You get to actively control this. So whether you think you can, you think you can't, you are right. The I am that comes out of your mouth And really the I am that you listen to the most, that's up here, that is quiet and it just talks to you all the time, that I am is what's going to bring you success or failure. So what are you the best at? What do you love to do? These are great questions to start with, because if you can focus your mind on what you are the best at or what you're really, really great at, then your mind is going to tell you positive things. You're going to hear only good things about what you do. And what do you love to do? So now as a real estate investor, let's find the things that you love to do. There's parts of this business that you are going to absolutely dislike. And there are other parts of this business that you are going to thrive in because you love it. And so making sure you take note of what you love and what you don't like are really critical parts of having success in this business. So how much time each day and week do you practice what you love to do? So excellence is an art won by training and habitualness. It's not that you're just really good at what you love to do. No, you choose to practice what you love to do over and over and over because you enjoy it. And then that's how you get really good at it. The same goes with real estate investing. The same goes with picking a strategy and sticking to it. So I invite you to take a minute and ask yourself, what do you want? Like, what are the things that you want? And then what's the lifestyle that you want? You know, when I got into real estate investing, it was 2009. We didn't have kids. We were not even married yet. We were just barely getting engaged. And so my idea of the lifestyle that I wanted, or the things that I wanted, were the Bentleys, the Rolls Royces, the Ferragamo bags, and it was all material. And I still want a lot of those things, no doubt. But it was a few years ago when all of a sudden it clicked and it said, you know what? The lifestyle I want is way more important than just certain material things. And once I had different priorities, my lifestyle changed. So then know, why do you want what you want? What is it? What is the reason that you're going after that? And what it comes down to is that greatness costs more. If you want to be great in this business, if you want to have a great life, it just costs more. And it costs more now. So are you willing to pay or not? Whoever has a really beautiful little child around them, it sounds really great, but I can hear it very loud. Okay, we're all good. Okay, so greatness. So living what you believe and living up to your potential. That's when you feel great. That's when you are great. So in order to be great, you need to be teachable, right? You need to be teachable and you need to take action. Take action even when you don't know exactly what step you have to take. Just take a step. So here's my first gift to you. If you need a little bit of help, if you need a little bit of motivation, if you need just somebody on your side giving you a little pep in your step, you just text this word, mindset, to this phone number. This is our phone number. And you'll get 30 days of motivational voicemail straight to your voicemail box. It's not going to ring your phone. It's not going to disturb you. But what it's going to do is it's going to allow you to have a partner in us so that you have somebody rooting you on those days when you don't feel like it. So feel free to text mindset to 602-362-8007. And then the next 30 days, you and I will be. All right, so let's see. Okay, so right now I want to take a step back and I want to tell you a little bit about our journey and how it started for us. So we read Rich Dad Poor Dad. We got introduced to this book. I'm sure there's other people out there, right? Let me see. Hold on. Let me turn my video on so I can see you guys. So yes, Rich Dad Poor Dad. Excellent book. Great book. All of a sudden, life-changing book. And then we were lucky enough, we were fortunate enough to get advertised to by this gentleman, right? Drew was going to close his Yahoo email, and Yahoo had those little banners around it with advertising, and it said, hey, Rich Dad's coming to town. Come for a free seminar. Free, right? So we went to this free seminar and we learned about the promise of freedom. We learned that having freedom, like true freedom in your life, is possible. We believed them. We still believe them. But what did that freedom cost? Anybody else go down this path? It's so hard to present. Okay, anybody else go down this path? Okay, so yes, it still costs. It costs and costs and costs, and they gave us, they had us maxing out our credit cards. They had us raising our limits, calling to get the interest rates down, doing that whole shebang, only to find out that they were just having us do that so that we could go max it out with them, right? So here we are, a young couple. We go into the credit card debt, and guys, I was crying. I was crying my face out when we maxed out these cards. I had just got done telling Drew, we can't get married with any credit card debt. No, 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 no. We'll never get engaged now. And then I realized, you know what? Screw it. We already signed up for all this debt. Let's go ahead and get married. I'm okay with that. So shortly after, we're talking 6 weeks after we max out our cards, we decide, let's get engaged. We get engaged, and what does engagement mean? What does wedding mean? It means more of this. Finding ways to pay for all of the things that you want, all the material things that we wanted at the time. So this is where it started. So then after we get married, we find a great deal. Have you guys played the Rich Dad cash flow quadrant or cash flow game? Right? So in there is this card that says you find a great deal. Borrow from the bank if you must, but buy this. And so at this point, we had gone through a number of classes from Rich Dad, and we get over to Drew's parents' house one night, and Drew is reading the ASRIA property postings. So if you happen to be in Arizona, make sure you join ASRIA. It is like the best RIA in the nation, and you should definitely be a part of it. So he's reading the property postings, and he says, Recia, I found it. This is like a card that's saying, borrow from the bank if you must, but buy this. Like, we have to find a way to buy this. I was like, I don't know, are you sure? Like, we are just now getting out of debt. This is years after we've been just paying this down, right? And we said, okay, let's go for it. Our knees are knocking, but I remember Kim Kiyosaki talking about just sign the papers even if your knees are knocking. Just go for it. So this was our first income producing property that we purchased as an income property. We already had one before that was Drew's house before we moved in together. But we looked at this and we said, like, this is great. We're getting a lot of money on this cash flow, but how many of these do I need to buy in order to replace my income? How long is that really going to take? Has anyone else been there? If you're trying to get out of a job and you look at cash flow to do it, it can be really challenging. So, Akisha, are you watching the comments, or should I pull it up, like take a break and pull it up? Okay, so I'm going to open this then. Just want to make sure I'm getting you guys.
I'm watching the comments.
Okay, you watch them. You just interrupt me, okay, if I need to stop or slow down.
Okay.
So how many of these do I need to buy to replace my income? It was going to be a lot. It was going to be a lot of them. Like minimum 10 would get us like halfway there. And we were just like, oh my gosh, this is going to take forever. I was thinking this is going to take forever, right? So 2 years go by, and this is what our portfolio looks like. It's great. But we have 4 houses in 2 years. 4 houses generating a couple $100 a month in cash flow. We're not close to getting me out of my job at this point. So I look at it and I think, well, we might as well have a baby. Like, if I'm not going to get out of this anytime soon, we might as well start having kids when we're young. What happens when you have kids, by the way? All that credit card debt, like, here it comes right back again, or you have to figure out your finances to get that taken care of. So it's that part of this journey is one where you just have to learn to grow as you grow. So I'm there with Spencer, and we would sit in his room, and I'm on maternity leave, and I'm looking at him and I'm playing with him. And we had this sign in his bedroom. We still have it today. So it's a sign that means a lot to us. And I'm sitting in his room and I'm saying, hey, dream big, little one. And I'm saying all the things that any mother, well, any good mother or any good father should be saying to their children, or I think they should be saying to them, right? You can do anything. You can be president if you want. You can be, you know, a mogul if you want. You can do whatever it is, right? Just dream big, dream big, dream big. And then I went back to work, and this is just how I felt. Like every day I would go into the parking lot, and this is how I felt. It was like I could be having the best day in the world, and then all of a sudden here comes the dark clouds and the rain starts pouring on me as I walk into the building. And I'd go into work and I'd be like, I hate my job, I hate my job, I hate my job, I hate my job, I can't wait to get out. And then there we are, right, with our 4 little properties that aren't making enough to let me quit. And so I go home one night and I'm telling Spencer, dream big, little one, and that's when it hit me. He looked at me and he's like, Mom, you know, in his like ESP kind of talk, right? How come you're telling me to dream big and you've already given up on yourself? And that's when I decided, you know what, it's time to burn the boats. I don't care if we only have 4 properties. I don't care if it's only making $1,000 a month. Like, let's burn the boats. I'm going to find a way. And so that's when I had to look for a different strategy. I had to find a strategy that was going to give me that active income, right? And so I put this sign up. It was 8.5 by 11. And if you want this picture, just Google this quote and you'll find it and you can print it out. Today I will do what others won't. So tomorrow I can do what others can't. And I couldn't even spend the time telling you how many times I looked at that and I read it every day so that I would get out of bed with a positive attitude and go after it. Because now I've already burned my boats, right? I had no other choice. And I had to change my thinking from, oh, when am I going to get my first deal? To I'm going to go out and do whatever it takes. And if it means I'm going to knock on every door in Phoenix to find that deal, I'm going to find it. So that's when I started wholesaling houses full time, right? This was the beginning of my journey of wholesaling. I started in 2014, January 1st, 2014 was my very first full-time day as a wholesaler. And these were some of the properties that I wholesaled. So those people in Phoenix that are here, and really anybody anywhere, I just want to take a second and look at these properties, because these properties are not typical wholesale properties that you would find in YouTube University or in like textbooks. Do they even make textbooks anymore? But the point is that like these aren't that ugly, right? This one in the bottom left, that was like a $700,000, $800,000 house. You know, so you can wholesale anything. It doesn't have to be like just completely torn down and run down. Now you can do those ones too, for sure, no doubt. But like just decide on the type of property you want to work on and the type of properties you want to wholesale. So when I got started, as I'm sure a lot of you guys might have the same correlation, right? I thought, you know what? Life as an entrepreneur is going to be awesome. I'm going to go have coffee every day. I'm going to have my computer. I'm going to look like this lady where it's like you're happy and there's nobody bothering you and you get all your stuff done and you make tons of money. No, that is not what entrepreneurship is or was to me. It was more like this. Like here I am, I'm at home, I'm doing work, I'm having to do the laundry, and I'm looking at the computer, trying to do my comps, trying to figure out how this works. And then I'm like running my head against a wall. I have sticky notes everywhere. You should see how many times I've just written things down on pieces of paper just to like paste it somewhere or to leave it under a coffee cup or what have you, right? This is what entrepreneurship was like when I got started. Like you were just
Flat boxes in the garage.
run ragged.
Just behind the,
It was a mess, right?
got the real name on it.
But this was what it was like in the beginning.
Yeah.
In the beginning, this is the craziness. So the question was, how do I build a full-time business? I'm running around, I have sticky notes everywhere. I feel like this robot where it's like, oh my gosh, what is this? Like, how am I supposed to keep up? I have the things I'm trying to learn about, the things I'm trying to do, the sellers I'm trying to contact for the first time, the sellers that I'm trying to follow up with, the people in escrow, all of that, right? I want to get it like this so that it's, maybe we don't want that much paper anymore, but we want it organized and we want a system and we want to have building blocks all put nicely together. And so the first secret, you have to have a system. You must create a system because you will never be able to hire anybody to help you or to replace you without a system. So how do you build your system? Well, before we go on, Akisha, is there any questions? Okay.
No questions right now.
Okay. So building your system. How do you build your system? First, you have to define what you want. If you don't know what you want, like you aren't going to know how to actually build it. And it's okay to not know exactly what you want when you're getting started, like exactly how it's going to come together. But have a big picture idea of what it is that you're going after. Do you want a smooth day or do you want a chaotic day? Do you like to fight fires? Do you like just people letting you know, hey, we sent wires to you? You know, what is the system that you want? Then you need to write it down. You must write it down. This sounds so rudimentary, but it's true. You need to just sit down and write it out because this is the starting point for your process map. And your process map is going to define your business. So how do you do process mapping? I'm a big picture thinker. Anybody else like a big picture type thinker instead of detail oriented, or is everybody details? Oh my gosh, everybody's details? Like nobody else like me? Okay, well, maybe for the recording, this is gonna be really
I'm
good.
big picture.
Okay.
I'm big picture.
Okay, so for the big picture, what you're gonna do is you're going to write down what the big picture is. What are the big animal pictures of your process? Like think about one part of your business and just write down those big pictures. And then take a break, come back to it and write down the details. And I suggest even the detail-oriented people start this way also, because if you start with every single detail along the way, you might not ever get to the end. And then once you have gone big picture and now you've filled it in with the details, then you can say, can this be automated? If you don't know if it can be automated or not, like call me because we can talk about how things can be automated that you might not be aware of. And then if it can't be automated, if it's not able to be automated, and we start with automation because automation is cheaper than delegation and it's more reliable and it's more accurate. So if it cannot be automated, list the ideal job role for each step of your process. Don't list, if you already have a team in place, don't list that says, my name here, this person's name here, team member A's name here. No. It has to be job role. And then you can delegate the task. So here is what our process map looked like at the beginning. This was October 3rd, 2016. This was 4 years ago. And we sat down, Drew had locked me in an office and made me do this because this is not where I like to spend my time. I do not like doing these types of activities. But we did it in the way I just shared with you, which made it a lot more palatable. So for us, we wanted to start with the marketing. We wanted to recognize, okay, when does the seller call it or when does the lead come in? When do we send the contract? How do we assign it? And then how do we send the money out, receive the money and send it out? Once you put it into like handwritten form, you can put it into something really nice. So we use a software called Lucidchart to do our mind maps, to do our process flows, all of that. So in Lucidchart, we were able to go from this in the handwritten ugly version all the way over to this, which looked a lot nicer and it felt a lot more professional. And it also helped us give it to other people on our team and explain how our process worked.
Recia, you have a question?
Okay, go for it.
It's from Gillette. Gillette, you can open your mic and ask the question.
So I was just wondering, when you first started off, because this is new to me. I'm not someone who's experienced, and so I'm exploring this as an option. So what would you suggest, since you've done it already, and so you've made some, you've had some challenges or whatever. So as far as a marketing campaign for a new investor, what would you say, since you've had some experience, obviously a lot of experience, how would you advise a new investor? Like, what type of marketing campaign would you recommend?
That's an excellent question. We are going to get to the hottest marketing campaigns out there and the ones that I would recommend, and they're going to be by price point. So depending on, price point is a big thing. So depending on what your budget allows, you'll get to choose that strategy. And I'll tell you some of the ups and downs of all of them as we go through them. The very first part, as you're getting started, like you're not going to know, right, as a very new person, you're not going to necessarily know all of these steps, right? You don't know it because you haven't been through it necessarily. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, here's the gift to you, the next gift to you guys. Like, take our wholesale process flow, look at it, study it, have it, and you can build yours off of this one. And then you can say, okay, is there something missing that I want to do that Recia doesn't do, as you go through it? But this is the very first place to start, because I would absolutely hate for anybody to start marketing or start talking to sellers and have no idea what you have no idea what you're doing. And so you talk to them, you're just wasting a bunch of money, wasting time, wasting energy, and you're going to get frustrated. So thanks for the question. So yeah, so this one, you guys get the wholesale property flow for free. So text the word flow to this phone number, and then you will get that. Some of these I'm going to email out in the morning. So make sure you send us your email too. Top seller lead generation methods. So here we go. Let's see, let me get this back out of my screen. Okay, so top seller lead generations. Here we go with what ones are available. So we have ringless voicemail. If you haven't heard of ringless voicemail, it's a strategy that Drew and I absolutely loved a few years ago. We loved it up until about a year and a half ago for our outbound prospecting. This is a very inexpensive way where you can get in touch with seller prospects for very, very inexpensively. You essentially send a voicemail, you record a voicemail, and you blast out that voicemail to your entire list, and it goes straight to their voicemail. It doesn't ring their phone or anything, it just goes to their voicemail. And then they call you back. Now, there is full disclosure, I'm not an attorney, I'm not here to give you advice on what to do, what not to do, but there are some things you want to keep in consideration when it comes to ringless voicemail, when it comes to a number of these different ones, just as far as laws in your county or your city or your state, just be aware of them. So ringless voicemail, cold calling and texting. This is also a very inexpensive way to get in touch with seller prospects. And driving for dollars is essentially getting in your car, driving up and down streets, finding houses that look distressed and abandoned. So you're actually looking on these ones for houses that are distressed more than people that are distressed. Bird dogs and property finders. This is another inexpensive way to get properties on a list for you to put under contract. So a bird dog or a property finder is like if you build a community, if you have other friends, if you connect well with Uber drivers or Lyft drivers, where they are going to go out and they're going to look for distressed properties on your behalf. And then they're going to text you, or they're going to use whatever system you're using to submit properties to you. And then depending on what your process is, how you move forward getting that property under contract. So bandit signs, bandit sign on wheels. These are, many people don't know about bandit sign on wheels. This is an example of one of our drivers here in Phoenix. You put a sticker, which is essentially a bandit sign, on the back of cars, on their back windshield. This was a strategy developed by one of our really good friends here in Phoenix, and he just decided, you know what, I'm going to put it on my car, on my friend's car, on my parents' car, on his siblings' car. And then what happens is that these drivers are driving around, and people call into the number, and they get routed to you. So now your bandit sign is always out there, and it's not getting taken down by the bandit sign police. It's not getting taken down by other wholesalers or your competition. So that's a great strategy. Bandit signs are the yellow signs that go in the street or in like on the curb next to the street. That's just say, we buy houses cash. You have direct mail. Direct mail gets a little bit more expensive because you need to be consistent with your direct mail. You need to have, at least if you're doing direct mail, you need to be prepared to spend for 6 months of touching that same list once a month. So in many print houses, if you're going to use a print house to do your direct mail, they require you to pay for that full 6 months up front, or they charge you a nice premium for them to do it once a month. Facebook and Google ads, these are very effective types of marketing. I would definitely hire a professional for this. Not only are the Facebook and Google ads going to be a little bit more costly, and it depends on what market you're in, Phoenix is going to be very expensive. Very, very expensive. So you want to make sure you have a professional running it, which you're going to also need to pay a pretty penny. But they are incredibly effective because you're finding people that are searching for a solution are finding you. I know we have a guest on here tonight that is excellent at online ads, but it can be costly. And then SEO. SEO is called search engine optimization. It also can be a little bit more expensive, and it takes more time. It's just about making your online presence rank on the first page of Google. So going back to the question from earlier, what are the ones that I would suggest as you're getting started? So right here, I put like the single dollar sign for the cheapest ones, the $2 signs for the ones that are a little bit more expensive, and then the $3 signs for the ones that are most expensive. The ones that are having arrows are going to be the ones that are most effective right now, and the hottest ones. People are loving these, and they are responding to them. Like your seller leads are responding to these. Cold calling and texting, super inexpensive, especially the text messages. But there is, like I said, there is a little heat coming down on text messaging. And if it falls into the do not call, and if you need to scrub it against the do not call list. So make sure whatever marketing strategy you choose fits your budget. It's something that lines up well with who you are and your preferences. Because if you don't like talking on the phone to people and cold calling, don't sign up to be a cold caller. Doesn't matter how hot it is. If you just don't want to do it, you're not going to get the results you want. And then, so it fits your budget, it fits your personality. and then you get to just choose. And I would suggest one of the biggest mistakes that I see is that when you get started, and we did the same exact thing, when you get started, you want to do all of them. Or you want to say, okay, I'm going to do RVM, which is ringless voicemail, cold calling, I'm going to text, I'm going to drive for dollars, I'm going to find other people that are going to do the property finders for me, and I'm going to do bandit sign on wheels. I just listed 6
Recia.
strategies. Yeah.
Recia, you're getting questions from Ricardo. Ricardo,
Okay.
why don't you open your mic and you can ask her the questions?
Okay. Let me.
Hey, Recia, can you hear
Hey,
me?
Ricardo.
Hey, what's up?
What's up?
Excellent presentation.
Thank you.
I just have 2 questions. The direct mail, do you ever send it more than once a month? So like more distressed homeowners, like foreclosures or something like that?
You can. I stick to once a month. There will be times like maybe you could do once every 3 weeks, but really it's more of incorporating. If you have a really distressed or like a really high motivation, let's say you have a list of people that are in foreclosure. I find that a lot of people either focus on a niche, like a motivation, or they focus on a marketing strategy. Your marketing strategy could be direct mail, and that's all you do. And it could be to a number of different types of sellers or a larger list. Or if you were going to go to foreclosures, what I would suggest is say, okay, I'm going to send out a mailing campaign, but then I'm going to knock on their door, and then I'm going to try and call them. And so here is where you have multiple different marketing strategies working together, but you're going to have a mix of like more expensive ones and then less expensive ones, so that you can just be in touch with them and you're working the same list. So we just use, if it's a super motivated person or we think that there's a high motivation, then we're going to find a way to get in touch with that person instead of just trying to go to a new list, go to a new list, go to a new list.
Right. And the other question was, where do you go to scrub against the do not call list?
A lot of services right now, so when you buy lists and you get them appended for phone numbers, a lot of services are already providing them with do not call scrubbing. So they're scrubbing them for you, and they are including the do not calls in your list, and then they let you be in charge of whether or not you're going to call them or not. But they mark that they're do not calls. Like there'll be a column that says that they are part of the DNC list. And there is, so Mojo Dialer is a power dialer where you can load a list if you're going to do cold calling. And Mojo Dialer offers scrubbing against the DNC list.
Got it. Thank you.
All right. Anybody else have any questions on this? So, yep. So start with what makes sense to you. These are just 9 strategies that I would consider that are available to you, and everybody's going to have their own preferences. When I got started, and I had to find a way, I was cold calling and I was door knocking. And then I got to bandit signs because they were just a little bit more expensive. And then I worked my way into direct mail, and then I found ringless voicemail. So that was my path. Right now, the texting and the cold calling are still like very, very, very effective. And if you're trying to get your first check or you're trying to get a check quick, that would be the way to go. Drive for dollars. Right now, a lot of people have the time to go drive for dollars. So that could yield you some really good results. And then direct mail is just tried and true. People still get the mail, they still open it. And then of course the ads. So many of these strategies, they require a list, right? So let me move this.
Hey, Recia.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm sorry. Do you have a script that you use for cold calling?
Yeah, so let me get the chat so I can type it out. Oh, okay, let's see. Okay, I'll put it in the chat in a minute or when I get done with this, but I have we put together a PDF that has different scripts that you can use for ringless voicemails, that you can use for text messages, And you can turn those into your cold calling scripts for sure. Like we have it set up based on what our assistant will do and how he'll talk to somebody when he's just calling them. So I'll give that to everybody. That will be an extra little gift. It's not in the presentation, but I will put it in the chat at the end. So here are some online resources for you to find lists. People are always talking about lists. How do I get lists? How do I find my list? And so I gave a couple different websites to go to, but I also want to encourage you to think outside the box a little bit here and to take a second and think about what matters to your county or what matters to your city. Here in Maricopa County in Arizona, we are a very capitalistic community, which is great for investors. Why is that great? Because I can go to the county, you too, and you can buy the list of all the rental property owners and their contact information. And it's like $500. And I mean, you're talking like 100,000 names or 100,000 rows. So you can go to the list source and you can buy it, but it's going to be thousands of dollars. Or you can think, okay, where do I, if you were a landlord, let's say, or if you were somebody in foreclosure, somebody with financial problems, where would that person be giving their contact information, their real contact information? And for landlords, we give it out when we have to register our rental property with the county. And so what does the county do? The county wants to make some more money. So what do? They just sell it off. If you want it, you can have it. You just got to pay for it. And they sell it so cheap. It's so cheap and it's accurate information. So if you're in Arizona, enjoy that tip. Enjoy spending that $500 because it's the best $500 you'll spend on getting a list. And of course, you can do free ways also. You can look at Craigslist. You can manually write them down, contact information off Craigslist, all that. Okay, so you got your phone ringing. Now what? You have your system. You have your good mindset. You have your marketing strategies going. And now your phone rings. And if you're like me, and like most people, you freak out the moment your phone rings. Okay, so you freak out the moment your phone rings. You don't want to talk to the seller because you don't know what they're going to say. And if you've had a bad experience on the phone, because there are plenty of people that you will market to that will call you just to cuss you out, just to be mad at you, just to get their entertainment by being mad at you and yelling at you. So what do you have to do? I want to take you back to, I want to take you back to our wholesale property flow. And the reason I want to take you back to this is because a lot of times you're going to have sellers calling you and you need to know what to do with them. Okay. And so you break it out and you look, okay, marketing is out to my prospects. The homeowner calls. Okay. So when you evaluate the property and you give them an offer, or this could be here when they call you, if they are rude to you, you can put them on your own do not call list. You can hang up on them. You can reserve the right to like sanctify your phone, right? And so you want to have this like plan of what's going to happen each step of the way. And this is what I'm trying to give you here. This is our plan. But you're also going to want to have confidence when you talk to seller prospects, even if you're brand new, even if you don't know exactly what you're doing. You want to be able to take your proven process. Your proven is like still working on it, but once you work your process enough, you will see that it's proven. And you can borrow ours for sure. You'll need a screenshot of this one. But you want to break out your proven process so that your clients can understand, or your potential clients can understand the flow of what they're going to go through when they work with you, right? And this is something you can put on your website. This is something you can put on marketing materials, but you want to break it down into 3 to 5 steps. 3 to 5 steps. That's it. There shouldn't be any more. If there's more, then it's too complicated. Okay. All right, so then we take our proven process from the client facing and we turn it into internal flow, because you want to be able to simply explain your process to the people working for you or working with you. And so this is our proven process, right? Our marketing goes out. There's going to be some kind of call, because we use the call to action that the seller leads will call us. We're going to evaluate the property, make them an offer over the phone. If they accept the offer, that's why they handshake us, then we are going to send them the contract. Once it's signed, then we schedule our walkthroughs. At that point, we determine the exit strategy, and then we close escrow. So this is how our process works for 90 to 95% of our properties. The only exceptions to this flow would be if it's a custom house here in Arizona that just isn't like anything else, or if it's high dollar. If we're like 700,000 or more, we're going to go and see the property before we send the contract. We're still going to make them an offer over the phone though. Generally, when it gets super custom, then you really do need to see the property before you can do that. Okay, so now you need to be able to talk your sellers through the process, right? They called in and now you need to talk them through the process. Well, what you're going to find is that you're going to have seller leads all the time. They're going to call you and they're going to immediately ask you questions. So instead of you being able to ask them questions first and get information about their home, they're going to say, wait a second, who are you? Why are you sending me this mail? Where did you find my contact information? What house are you interested in? You know, so these are going to be the questions. And what you're going to find once you do this long enough and you talk to enough people, that most people are going to have the same questions. Now you want to take those questions, and ours, it's 5. Like if you're in Phoenix, you're probably going to have 5 questions, and it's probably these 5 from your seller prospect. So you need to know how to answer them. And then you need to arm whoever is speaking with your seller leads with those frequently asked questions and the way you want them to answer them on your behalf. That way they don't have to stumble through the call. And then you want to be able to have the same questions asked to each seller prospect each time you talk to them. And that's so you don't forget information. That's so you can treat every seller lead the same, which is part of your process. If you want to put somebody in place to talk to your seller leads, then you want them to talk to everybody the same so you know how the flow is working. So this is our seller lead script, and it keeps going. I didn't bring all of it, but this is my last gift to you. Well, besides the cold calling scripts, I'll give those to you too, but text the word script to that phone number. And what you're going to get is you're going to get our entire script that we use for the seller leads. And so you can take it, you can print it, you can use it, you can change the questions. The 2 questions on here that are specific to Arizona that we use most in Arizona, and it applies elsewhere, but we use, does the house, how old is the AC unit, and how old is the roof? If you know those answers, and you can ask these other open-ended questions like, does it have any upgrades? Does it need any repairs? Then you're going to be able to evaluate properties on the fly or like virtually without going to the property. So here we've talked about like what it's like to start. We've talked about how like when you get started and you don't have a system in place and you don't have all these tools available to you, this is how you run your business, and it translates into running your life that way. You're just crazy. You're absolutely crazy. There's sticky notes everywhere, and you're going to feel like you're just on this, that you've created this rat race for yourself. You know, that you have to keep sprinting, you have to keep sprinting, you have to keep sprinting, and you're not feeling like you're making any progress or any traction. And then with a system, once you get these things hammered out, then all of a sudden you can have that lifestyle. You you can relax a little bit more and you can put other people in place, and you don't have to always be running in this just endless cycle. And so I just want to take a second and acknowledge that it's okay to feel like you're fighting fires all the time and that you are feeling crazy. But if you take these steps that I've provided here tonight, this is really the front end of your system. And I've tried to give you guys as many resources as I can that we use in our current day business that work, so that you don't have to spend the time that we spent creating those. And then all you have to do is tweak them and implement them along the way. So that's all the information I have for you guys. I really appreciate, Akisha, you having me on tonight. I really, really do. And everybody else that joined, I appreciate your time. I know you guys all are busy. A lot of you are on the East Coast. And so it's super late there. It's later than I'm usually awake. And so I just appreciate you taking the time to be with me tonight. And I'm happy to answer any questions you have.
Thank you so much, Recia. We really, really appreciate you. You gave so much valuable information. Does anybody have any questions before we wrap up? Because we do try to keep it to that hour to be respectful of everybody's time. Does anybody have any questions? Don't be shy.
Please don't.
I have a question.
Yeah,
Okay.
Ricardo, go ahead.
What who was the first once you had your system down, who was the first person you hired?
I had a personal assistant. And so I didn't have my system all the way down when I hired her. I just knew I needed help. And she was my right-hand gal. At the time, Drew was not out of corporate America yet. So he left corporate America once we had a business established and we knew that, like, okay, he can leave a job and we're good. And so at the time I hired a personal assistant who helped me I outsourced the calls, like the incoming calls. And the way that I did that was, I guess my Pat Live came about the same time. So Pat Live is a call center. And so it's an answering service. And so we were generating a lot of leads and they would call into the call center. The call center doesn't build any rapport or anything like that with your sellers. They're just there to take the information. And then my assistant would call the seller back to build that rapport. We've since changed assistants, but like we would not be anywhere close to where we are without having people on the team helping us.
Thank you so much.
All right. Well, thank you all again. We have some of the smartest and most savvy real estate investors in our own backyard here in Phoenix. So if you want to keep getting this information, please continue to come to our Wind Down Wednesdays. If you're not in the area and you're still interested in learning about real estate investing or interested in the Phoenix market specifically, please come check us out the last Wednesday of every month. We'll be having different people, and nobody's getting paid. They don't have to do this for anyone. They're very successful. It's just big-hearted investors here, and I'm so proud to be part of this community here. And I really appreciate you, Recia, for taking this time out. And I thank everybody else for joining in, for taking an hour out. I know we all are dealing with different things. I'm dealing with homeschooling a seventh grader. So trust me, I know we are wearing different hats. It's my margarita that I will finish in a moment. But before I sign, I just want to make sure, does anybody else have any more questions? Because I know a lot of information was covered. I don't want anybody leaving like, oh, I should have asked that. So we can just go over a few minutes if you want to get those questions asked.
Yes, can you ladies hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Hey, how are you? I am so sorry. My name is Lisa Jones. I'm in the Orlando market and I just got home, turned on my computer, and I'm like, oh no, it's over. Will there be a replay?
Oh, you know what? Anybody that wants me to send the video out to them, just email me at azpropertywise. I'll put my email in here, azpropertywise at Gmail, and I'll send it out to you.
Okay, if you put it in the chat, that would be great. Thank you so much.
I will. I know a lot of great information was covered, and Recia, we really appreciate you. You did an amazing presentation, and this is really going to help a lot of people get going in their businesses and get growing and scaling their business. We can do this. Whatever you believe you can do it. And she's telling you about those systems and everything. Those are very important. So I suggest you email me and request the link. And I hope that you keep coming back. We're going to keep having great investors, great information. So thank you so much.
Yeah, and I did just put in the last freebie, which Ricardo had asked for, which are the scripts. So if you text the word killer to 602-362-8007, our phone number, you're going to get 22 killer ringless voicemail / texts and cold call scripts. So that's there for everyone to take part in. Feel free to use that. And then I do see, okay, so Chris just asked what was for dinner. A lot of you, if you follow me on Facebook, I'm always posting keto food because that's what we do. Tonight we had sausage stuffed portobello mushrooms. So.
Oh, wow. That sounds amazing. And also, I'd like to get anybody's feedback if you have a specific topic you'd like us to cover, because I want to make sure that we're providing information that will add value to the people that are coming. So if you have questions or topic you want us to cover, please send me those requests.
Okucha, am I saying your name properly? Did I say it correctly?
No, my name is Akisha.
Keisha. Did I
Yeah.
say it right that time? Okay. Can you just say your email one more time?
Yeah, I'm getting ready to post it now.
Okay. Thanks. And yeah, Recia, I follow you and follow those wonderful recipes. I'm not there yet, but they look heavenly.
Hey, thank you very much. Who's speaking?
Can I reach out to you? I have a buyer who's in the Arizona area, and she is looking for like a 5-bedroom property, upward of like $800,000. I'm in Orlando, but I don't know anybody in Arizona.
It sounds good. Just connect with me on Facebook or send me a text on this phone number is fine.
Fabulous. I'll send it tomorrow. Can I send it to that same number?
Yep.
Okay, great. I'll reach out to you tomorrow. Wonderful. This made my night.
Great.
All right. I'm going to leave this up a little while longer just in case somebody needs the information. I'm not going to close out just yet. So you can get the number for all of the killer scripts, and if you'd like to get my email as well. Other than that, you all have a great night.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for the nice comments too. I appreciate the feedback.
Thanks, Recia. Have a great night.
You guys too. Bye-bye.
You got to share some recipes with me. That's awesome.
Girl, you got to follow hashtag Dining with the Davises. You go
Okay, I will follow that.
On Facebook, you will find all kinds of stuff for us.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. Thank you.
Thanks.